Ladies and gentlemen, what a load of bowls. Back again. Thank you to the Bowls Academy for constantly bringing us back. This week is episode 26, mate, which is 6 months doing the show. You know what that means?
What does that mean, DJ?
26 weeks of consecutive episodes of us getting together, talking rubbish, and people listening.
Wow. 26 weeks, DJ.
You wouldn't have thought you got there, would you?
Nah, I didn't think when we first started that we'd get 6 months in and still be doing it, DJ.
We are. Not bad, man, not bad. What'd you get up to this week?
It's been pretty flat out work week, DJ.
It's a nightmare when work gets in the way of bowls.
Yeah, no, there's no bowls this weekend. I was sadly at work all weekend, DJ.
Yeah, getting that light rail up and running in Parramatta, mate, are you?
That's it. It was in lovely Parramatta for all weekend, DJ, and a load of concrete and soaking up the rays that was just reflecting off the concrete. It was nice and hot in Parramatta. Yeah,
good. If only their football was that hot too, they might still be in the finals. But obviously, they've had their Mad Monday and they're done for the season, aren't they? So,
what about yourself, DJ? What's been going on in the Bowls Maitland City office?
I'm never there.
Well, that's what the members tell me anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what the inside of the office looks like anymore. I mean this and that, bit of this, bit of that. Social bowls. Club championships have been played, trying to finish all that off. Got a couple of pennant wins with the Women's Division 2 and the Men's Division 4, which is good. So waiting for the venues for those to be announced so we can book some accommodation. And then, some regional events too, which we'll get onto a bit for around the greens as well. But yeah, just the usual, same old, mate. A few different meetings. I feel like I'm on webcam with you now, and I'm on webcam at least twice more during the week. So I'm Teams calls, trying to get this facility finalised and up and running, and dotting the I's, crossing the T's, mate. But it'll
just
be
the life of a sports administrator, DJ.
Oh, yeah, you gotta love it. It's 24/7. Had a lovely drive to Sydney today, mate.
How was that?
When I say lovely, I'm dripping with sarcasm because that is, I don't know how you can do that every day of the week. That is dreadful. It is the worst place to drive in the world, I think. It's just, as soon as I see the Sydney sign, it's just anxiety. And then you can just tell, like that, like they said back in the day, back at home, mate, they got their driver's license out of a lucky bag, some of them people. I don't know. That's...
you country people up there, DJ, just not used to a bit of hustle and bustle in the city. I'm
not used to a 24-seat bus with a trailer trying to sideswipe me, changing lanes when I'm in the way. Like, oh, mate. It's just, it's hard work, but yeah, it's one of the things has to be done, mate.
Some bowls-related work, DJ, down in Sydney?
It was, mate. It was down with the architects for the facility that we're talking about, just finalising some of the finishings and stuff, looking at carpets and bricks and marble tiles, and yeah, it's wonderful, mate.
Doing everything, DJ.
Oh,
Jack of all trades.
They need my artistic eye, mate, so they do. So. Oh, dear. Considered though, mate, while I was down there just popping around the Bowls New South Wales office, they've called for nominations for the board of directors. Doesn't get much bigger than that, does it? Yeah, they're looking for two, looking for one man and one woman to nominate. So, yeah, I'll put your hand up for you if you want.
Nah, I think I'm too busy, DJ.
You're too busy.
Too much going on, podcast and
yeah, well, that's it. It takes up a lot of time.
Yeah,
good on you, mate. Good on you. All right, big announcement coming, mate, from you.
From me?
Yeah, I'm not gonna hold back on it. We're gonna get straight into it. So we've been lining up a lot of interviews.
Yeah,
I've got one tomorrow with one Ryan Best there. You've got a couple lined up with a couple of other administrators.
Yeah,
in different states. But you went big last week, and you caught a pretty big fish. And I'm not too sure it gets much bigger, mate. You want to talk a bit about that?
Yeah, well, for all our listeners out there, you're going to keep tuned over the next few weeks because myself and DJ will be interviewing the one and only CEO of World Bowls. DJ, CEO of World Bowls,
Mr. Neil Dalrymple.
Yep,
he said yes.
He said yes, DJ.
Talk to us.
Yep.
Jeez, how much did you pay him?
So, the spearhead of our sport on a world stage. We're going to sit down and have a chat to him, DJ.
Yep.
And it'd be interesting from our listeners out there. We're going to put it out to you. Jump on, send us a message, whether that be on social media or email address, jump on the show notes. What do you want us to ask him? What do you reckon, DJ? What kind of topics do you want to ask the CEO of World Bowls? What would you like to hear, listeners?
Not too many people will get a chance just to talk to him one-on-one, mate, so it'll be good for us to actually sit there and pick his brain, especially around the recent announcement with the Commonwealth Games.
Yeah,
what
well,
does he think? Are we going to be in it? Or will we be in it? Won't we be in it? And then, of course, obviously the Olympics is the big push at the minute too. Yep. So that's two big things. Obviously, me and you will talk about because we're the brains of the operation. But if any of you guys have any questions out there on the ground about for Mr. Neil Dalrymple, but as Simon says, Simon at thebowlsacademy.com, or jump on the Bowls Academy Facebook page, send a private message if you don't want to do it publicly. But yeah, I'm sure Simon will put a post out there for people to comment on this week. What would you ask Neil Dalrymple if given the chance? And you get a couple of good questions out there. If there's a consistent theme on some questions, by all means, we'll put it in front of him.
Yeah, like what the opportunities, challenges. I think that's what we're going to look at, DJ, in terms of our sport, and he might be able to bring up a few things that World Bowls are doing that we don't know behind the scenes, or different things that they're looking at strategically for our sport. So it'd be interesting, DJ, to sit down with him, and should be a good episode, DJ, coming up soon then.
Yeah, we're trying to bank up a few of these interviews, especially with me going overseas. A bit of uncertainty as to time frame and what we're going to have, what we're going to be able to do when we can do it. But yeah, it'll be certainly a good one, mate. So keep an eye out for that, everyone. And like I said, look out for the post on Facebook.
Yep.
Feel free to comment. Sensible ones only if we can. I know it's hard in the bowls world, especially if you put it on a certain Facebook page. I'm sure there'll be some interesting ones out there.
I'm sure there will, DJ. But we'll definitely screen them, and we'll ask the reasonable questions to the CEO of World Bowls, DJ. We won't go too silly.
Well, you can ask the reasonable ones. You can't guarantee what pops up at the same time when I'm there. So we'll see how we go. But at least you can edit it out if needs be.
That's it.
All right, man. Moving on to around the greens. So pretty quiet, nothing major, but there is still some good events on around at the minute. So regional championships. I've seen 5 results during the week on Facebook.
Yep. From
Metro South East, Metro South West, Newcastle, Greater Newcastle. Sorry, It's not actually a great place to be, but I think they wanted that title in there because they think they're that good. So they do. Like, it's not really like Greater Newcastle anyway. Illawarra, and of course my own place, the Hunter Valley Bowls region as well. Now, I mentioned it before. There's 5 regions we know of. There could have been more.
Yeah,
that's 5 regions that just popped up in my 5 regions that popped up on my Facebook this week with a few results.
Yeah,
all playing regional championships, 4 playing singles, and 1 playing triples. So if they're all playing the same weekend, why can't they be playing the same discipline, Simon?
Just play the same discipline the same weekend, and then you have all your finalists nailed down.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we'll get the hard one out of the way first, man. I'm going to start close to home. I'm going to go Hunter Valley Bowls.
Yep.
Because we made the triples final.
Oh, DJ, how did you go?
Didn't go, dude.
Oh.
We went down by 3 to the team of Jay By Norris, Craig Barber, and Aaron Appleby. So that was me, Brody Pitham, and Simon Mitchell. So, yeah, unfortunately, a very good game. As I said, there was 3 shots in it. I'd say probably you'd have to give it to the guys on performance. Like, they probably outplayed us over the course of the 25 ends.
Yeah.
But Simon played some massive ones to keep us in it. And then Jay played a couple of clangers as well, just to every time we just sort of clawed our way back in, Jay would play something and he'd get away again,
or a little bit late,
or vice versa. He maybe played a really good one that could maybe really extend the lead, and then Simon would play a cracker. We've gone 4 down one end. Now Jay played a really good bowl to make the 4, and then Simon's going whack all 4 out. We got 4. You know,
yeah.
There was another time that happened again. He's put the jack in the ditch. Jay's drew shot. He's drew inside him. Really good from the skips. We had a chance with the last bowl to try and get an extra end out of it. Simon just came up a little bit narrow, but yeah, I'd have to say over the course of the game, tricky rink, tricky conditions. Probably a good game to watch. We all sort of battled. All 6 of us battled on. Like I said, it was a bit of a tricky surface, but yeah, I have to get the Curry boys there. So it was moving down to
just before you move on. I think that. Triples, you're saying about such a swing in the shots there. Like, triples really cutthroat. Like, it's 2 bowl triples for
savage, isn't
listeners out there. 2 bowl triples. It's really cutthroat playing 2 bowl triples. We grew up at 3 bowl triples back home, DJ.
Yeah, we did.
And it was just
definitely, it's definitely a different feel to the game, isn't it?
It's so different. Yeah.
You know, it's just not having those extra 2 bowls coming last just makes that big difference. So it does.
You definitely need all 3 players playing well. I think DJ for a good triple. You can't carry anyone that's playing 50%, 60%. All 3 players need to play well.
No, exactly, mate.
All right, so moving on then, DJ.
Yeah, we're
going
to go down your neck of the woods, mate. We'll go to Metro Southeast.
Mm-hmm.
Winners there. The women's, there was one Anne Johns from Engadine.
Yes, she won the ladies singles. Yeah.
And then it was an all-turn point final in the men's, mate.
Yeah, sadly, I wasn't in the final because I didn't play in the singles. So
you're undefeated this year, mate. Well
undefeated, yeah. Well, thanks, DJ. But it was two of my good mates, Mr. Ray Pierce and David Axon, who were in the final competing. So Mr. Axon came out on top and managed to win. It was close finish in the end.
What was the score?
But he managed to grab his first singles title, DJ. So
any truth to the rumor that Razor wasn't available for state final? Or did I just make that up?
You might have just made that up, DJ.
Well done, Axe. Now, it would have been a good game, I'm sure, mate.
Yeah, it was close. I watched the last few ends of the live stream, DJ, so stoked for the big lad. DJ, that was one he was kind of after. There was one that eluded him, over the years. He's won every other event in our region, so yeah, well done to Axe winning the singles. So that's the singles and the pairs this year. So he'll spend a good few days, DJ, up at state finals.
Up at Ballina, yeah, not a bad place to be.
Yeah, it'd be nice for a few days up there playing bowls. So
yeah, mate, it is. Righto, Illawarra also played their singles. We had Kay Moran taking out the women's there and one Corey Wedlock. Have you heard of Corey?
I think I have, DJ. Yeah, he's won
Corey,
a few things.
Corey taking out the men's there as well. And we had an interesting one in Metro Southwest. Potentially a first ever
St. John's Cabramatta area.
Yep. So it was a St. John's double, and potentially, I don't know, obviously we haven't looked into this in too much detail, but is it a first, boyfriend, girlfriend, fiancés, husband, wife duo to win regional titles at the same time, other than a mixed event with Brianna Smith and Ben Twist?
That'd have been a happy household that evening, DJ. Two
Well
winners.
have been, I'd say so. So that was our winners from there in those singles. And Newcastle, Greater Newcastle as they like to call it, up there. They're down to the quarterfinals of theirs. I mean, they get quite a lot of entries in these things. So Daniel Hill will play against Maddie Swan, both of Charlestown, and then we've got a C. Guerin against Barry McGovern of East Maitland. R. Lauritsen from Belmont against one Lee Schreiner from Raymond Terrace, Peter Thornton from East Maitland, and A. Henry from Soldiers Point. That's the quarterfinals there, mate. They'll play that next weekend, starting at 9:15. Oh, that's hard to look past Leroy.
Yeah, absolutely.
That Daniel Hill, Matt Swan, that's the game of the round there for the quarterfinals. Two guys from Charlestown. Matty Swan's come up there recently from Wenty, where he used to do a lot of damage, and he's definitely maturing into a very, very good player. And Hilly there with maybe a few points to prove. I haven't missed out on a state berth this year.
Around the state selection sort of arena, wasn't he, DJ? So yeah,
he was, man.
Point to prove, indeed.
Yeah. Exactly, so that'll be a good one up there. So that's 5 regions that had events going on. If we've missed one and you want us to talk about it, flick us an email, alert it to us. Like I said, I just picked those up because they came up on my Facebook page this week. So moving on, mate, the big event out west, and we've got the Inland Petroleum City of Double Fours for 2024. You're going to talk to us a bit about this one, mate. So massive $100,000 fours tournament,
huge prize money.
Third year they've run it, mate. It's a World Bowl Series event this year.
Yeah.
How are we looking after day one?
Look, I did see a bit of live stream, DJ. It popped up. I was quickly scrolling through Facebook earlier when I was supposed to be working, but
it's only illegal if you get caught, Simon.
Yeah, that's it. And it was Lee Schreiner was playing. His 4 was on, and it looked, DJ, really slick. The greens looked really quick, and it was quite windy as well.
Oh, lovely.
So, yeah, could be challenging conditions up there, DJ, if it's quick greens and windy. But it was nice and sunny, DJ.
Champions, that team as well, aren't they? Back-to-back defending champions.
Yeah. So, having a look at DJ, they've played 3 games so far today. And top of the table is Queensland 4, DJ, skipped by Kane Nelson. 3 from 3 with a margin of 46.
Yep.
Coming in second then is Lee Schreiner's 4.
Yep.
3 from 3, margin of 37.
Yep.
And in third, not really surprised, really, those 2, really those 3 actually, DJ, at the top of the table. Third is the 4 of skipped by Benny Twist with Jack McShane, Joseph Clark, and Nathan Black in there.
He's gone in pretty light there, Twisty.
Gone light, yeah, DJ. They're 3 from 3 as well with a margin of 31. So,
cheers. And
then below them, DJ in fourth is Carl Healy's 4 from Cabramatta.
Yep.
So they're 3 from 3 and a margin of 23. So top quality bowlers, DJ, sitting at the top of the table after 3 games. 3 games to go tomorrow as well. So
yeah, top 6 teams all with 3 wins.
Yeah.
Top 8 teams all undefeated. O'Reilly and Dupre had a draw first game with each other, and they've won their next 2. So yeah, as you said, all to play for. We think top 8 go through to quarterfinal, semi-final, final.
Yep.
And then the next 8 go into like a plate competition. I think there's a third one underneath that as well. So it's great competition out there in Dubbo.
Yep.
We haven't been invited
put on
out
a good
yet.
event out there, DJ, out at Dubbo. State finals we went to last year. Like, they put on a great show out there.
Yeah,
so
they know what they're doing.
No doubt all the players are getting looked after really well out at Dubbo, and definitely around the traps is known as a really good tournament that's only just sort of recently kicked off. And yeah, hopefully that continues to get bigger and better, DJ, and continues to send bowlers out that way to country New South Wales.
Absolutely, mate. They've done well in the last 2 years that it's round, so all the best for them this year. We'll report on the winners of that next week when we come back in for the podcast.
Yep.
All right, so I thought we might look ahead. We've been talking about it for a couple of weeks. The Nationals is getting very, very close. So it is. So What have we got coming up with the Nationals? The Nationals is going to kick off at Broadbeach and Tweed on the 8th of October. They're going to kick off with the Champion of Champions. Then we're going to move into the Para Nationals, the Australian Under-18 Championships, the Australian Senior Sides Championships. Then you've got the National Australian Sides Championships, which is the Alice Shield, and then the female equivalent. And then finally, finishing off there, 21st to the 25th of October will be the actual National Championships for the singles, pairs, triples, and fours. So with the Champion of Champions coming up first, mate, I thought we'd have a quick look. Looks like in the men's event, only 7 entrants, mate. There's no one coming from Western Australia to the Nationals for the Champion of Champions.
Wow.
So there's no. But who else have we got? We've got Brad Marin from Kangaroo Flat in Victoria. Hayden Ward from Goulburn Railway for the ACT. Jacob Nelson, Kapalaba, Queensland. It's not even Kane, it's Jacob. Jeepers. Family of bowlers up there.
Yeah.
John Fowler from Kingborough, Tasmania. John O'Voigt from Anguston, South Australia.
Yeah.
Mason Lewis from Engadine, who's now obviously moved to Marylands.
Yep. And
previous winner, Tristan Smollicum from Darwin in the Northern Territory, mate. Everyone plays everyone there. So it's a round robin. There's obviously a bye. Looks like looking a bit close to home in New South Wales. Mason's got the bye first up. Mate, what way do you see that going?
Look, I'm gonna go with Mozzie.
Yeah, I think so.
DJ. Too. I think it's quality as a singles player. I think he's got the temperament to play the round robin games. DJ doesn't get flustered very often.
No,
Mason. So I'm gonna back Mason up there. DJ, bring it home for New South Wales.
Yeah, I'll go with you, mate. It'll be interesting to see. Jacob Nelson from Queensland, I think we'll give it a bit of a shake.
Stiff opposition, yep.
Yeah, I know Kane gets a bit more of the plaudits at the minute, but obviously Jacob's doing pretty well in his own right too. Moving on to the women then, mate. Anita Rook from Darwin, Brooke Edwards from Altona in Victoria, Chloe Morrison from Tuggeranong Vikings in the ACT.
Well said.
Chloe Stewart from Club Tweed in Queensland. Dawn Heyman, St John's Park, New South Wales. Jess McMullen from Invermain, Tasmania. Karen Gatto from West Lakes in South Australia. And Christina Christic from Manning, Western Australia. My days, mate. Lineup.
Wow. That's a big lineup, DJ. There's 3 quality players there that spring to mind straight away. But obviously, everyone else, DJ, that obviously wins their state singles is going to be quality bowlers. But definitely from sort of big stage, you're definitely looking at WA, New South Wales, and Queensland, DJ. Those are going to be the 3 competitors that will definitely fare up the top of the table after the round robin.
You want to have a pick there, man, or you want to let that one play out and see how we go?
Oh, I'm going to go Chloe Stewart.
Going to go Chloe from Queensland? You traitor.
Home ground, DJ. Playing up in Tweed. Home ground advantage. I think that'll play its part. Home crowd, DJ, they'll all be there cheering her on. So
no doubt.
Turles will be there in the sidelines.
He'll have them out in force, won't he?
Yeah, he will. Definitely. Yeah. So he'll be offering them free sausage sizzles and everything, get them down.
Not bad. Yeah, so like I said, we finish off the whole nationals event with the actual championships. So that'll be the triples to start off with, followed by the pairs, followed by the fours, followed by the singles, and finishing off with the mixed pairs event. So we'll have we've got a month or so before that gets there.
Yep.
We'll have more of a look at the entrance and stuff in those events when we get to them. And we'll get your predicting head on, and do a few predictions out there. But that is the nationals coming up, starting off on the 8th of October.
Big few weeks, DJ. Bowls up there.
Yeah, it is. It's massive. I think it's a great concept.
Yeah.
I'm still upset a few people when I said that the state title means more than a national title, but you got to start somewhere, and I still stand by that. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see over the next couple of years if that keeps going. It's a big festival, so it is. So it's good to see them doing something out there, and hopefully it keeps going and gets bigger and better each year.
Definitely. So DJ, moving on to this week's hot topic.
Yep.
It's been a few weeks since we've rattled your cage and got some good responses out of you. I was thinking this week, I was actually down at Tarrant Point on the Bowls committee meeting, and we talked about Platinum Pennants, DJ, and marquees and who we're going to have for next year. And I believe you've got an interesting view on how Platinum Pennants should be changed or adjusted next year. What is that hot topic, DJ?
A couple of ideas out there, mate. Like we said, it's gone a bit quiet since the conclusion of it. It was a pretty fair conclusion too with that final between Cabramatta and Warilla. And I rattled on about how we've got to make it, we've got to improve on that. We've got to build on that. Not even improve, but just build on it. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better start. It was an unbelievable script. And I've just been sitting there thinking, man, of a few different ideas with Platinum Pennant and what we can build on. So from what I can gather, I might be right or wrong here, but the players or the teams there are locked in for a minimum 2, it could even be 3 years. So when they signed up their expressions of interest, they committed to that. So whatever draw we had last year, if you played someone at home last year, you're going to play them away this year and vice versa. So that sort of squares it up after 2 years. Everyone's had a fair crack at it. But how do you go on from that? So is it going to go a bit stale if we have the same teams in there all the time?
Yeah.
Right. Do we need to look at a promotion relegation? And I think we do. Now, Queensland Premier League, from what I can look at, does it quite well. That the bottom 1 or the bottom 2 place teams then have to play off against some other teams before it starts.
Okay.
To get your position in the competition. Now, I would look at something similar. I wouldn't just go out and say the Grade 1 flag winner automatically has to go in. Okay, so reason that they don't have to automatically go in. Take this year, Cabramatta won.
Yeah.
You want 2 Cabramatta teams in the Premier competition. I understand, and that's not having a knock on the players or anything, because obviously they're very good players.
Yeah.
But then you've sort of diluted their talent a bit more then, because you've got, if they want to use a reserve, they've got to dip into their 3rd and 4th best teams.
Yes.
To be able to do that. So you don't want to put Cabramatta in that position. If they've got the best Premier side and the best next level down, good on them. Just let that go.
Yeah.
So then it comes down to, so this year then, that type of format, like if we wanted to put our hands up, okay, if Grandviews wanted to put their hands up, if we're, I don't know, someone else wanted to put their hand up and say, right, we want to have a play at it. The other way to look at it is too, let's say somewhere like Ballina, somewhere like Wagga.
Yeah.
Got up, won the number 1 flag. Like, do they want all that travel to play in the Platinum Pennant?
Yeah, that's the thing, DJ, with regards to over here. Like, it's such a vastness between clubs if you're out western New South Wales to in the city.
So you don't want to force them to have to say, right, oh, well, you're in the Platinum now. Because obviously they've done well to win the ones, but there's going to be, eventually, if this keeps building, there's going to be a bit of a step. There's going to be a bit of a gap in the talent pool, I think. There's a couple of teams there I think would compete all right in Platinum Pennant. And I think we're one of them.
Yep.
I think Grandviews with the right marquees as well would strengthen up and go pretty well. There's experience there.
Yep.
Pardon me. So that's one thing I look at is the promotion relegation side of it, just so as it doesn't go stale. Okay, and I'd like to see, let's say, if you said the bottom place team has to fight for a spot in the next year, okay. Yeah. But the way you do that is you can only use players from your own club, no marquees. I'll get into that in a second, right? No,
Okay.
If you want to play in the Platinum, you've got to get there with your own players, and then you can add the marquees after that. Now, you said about the marquees, right? There could, in my head anyway, and you know how interesting it can be in there at times. In my head, there can be, we've talked about the money in the game.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm wrong in saying there's maybe 2 clubs in a different region from you that would have a bigger war chest.
Yes.
Than the likes of Tarrant Point and maybe even Engadine.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a bit of a gulf there.
Now, DJ, do we maybe to help out some listeners, because we've got international listeners, DJ. Are we? Not just everyone in New South Wales, and so we've got some international listeners.
Yeah.
That war chest, DJ, from some of those clubs.
Yeah.
Pretty heavy, isn't it, DJ?
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to pick it up.
Yeah.
No, but they can. There's some clubs out there could go and they could just name their price and get a player.
Yeah, and
so all right.
For listeners out there, to give them context, you're talking tens of thousands of dollars, probably.
Yeah, definitely. So how do we combat that? You know, so here's DJ's way to combat that.
Yeah.
And I floated this with someone a couple of years ago when we had the BCIB up here.
Yeah.
For a similar reason, there were smaller clubs up here that couldn't afford to have a marquee and weren't using a marquee then. And there was other clubs could afford, you know, your middle of the row marquee, and then there was guys that could just afford whatever they wanted. What if we put the marquees are all on a list gathered by Bowls New South Wales? It's Bowls New South Wales it's their competition,
it's their event.
Right?
Yeah.
It's their event. Okay. The players at this stage, the clubs are basically putting that on for them and they're benefiting from it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's get them to put into it a bit more. Let's get them to get the marquee list together. Okay, so you put an expression of interest out to every state player in the country, every jackaroo, and you say, all right, here's your dates of Platinum Pennant.
Yeah.
Are you interested in playing? Yes. All right. Number 2, here's your dates. What dates are you available for? All of them? Some of them? What are you available for?
Yeah.
Okay, I think the stipulation there would be you need to be available for finals.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're not available for finals, rule them out. Don't put them on the list.
Yeah.
All right. Then you put them all together and you go, right, clubs, let's get into your room. And we have like a season launch. Mm-hmm. Everyone knows what the dates are. Let's have a season launch. We can't do a draw because we know the draw is going to be reversed each year. Okay? But let's have a season launch where we have a draft.
Yeah.
Okay, or an auction. Let's not say a draft. Let's say an auction. You don't get a draft. It's not random. It's auction. You're bidding on those players, right?
Yep.
And let's say that each club has got a cap.
You're only allowed so much to spend.
You're only allowed, every club is only allowed the same amount of money to spend on those marquees. Now, that could be 50, 60, 70K, whatever it is, right?
Yep.
And the players would know that coming in. So they know that there's a chance they're only going to get bid on for whatever the amount of money is.
Yeah.
All right. But that's what they'll get for playing for that particular club, right? And you're only allowed 2. So the way it stands at the minute, clubs could have unlimited marquees. Okay? But you're only allowed to use 2 per game.
Yeah.
You're only allowed 2, full stop. So if you pick up 2 marquees that miss 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, whatever games from your season, that's on you to fill that void with players from your own club. Because if you're willing to bid on them to play for those amount of games on the finals, that's enough. All right? Mm-hmm. Because at the minute, what's to stop 4 marquee players at a value in the tens of thousands being assigned to one club and playing 3 games each, and then they decide which 2 play each game?
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, that's the way the rules are at the
and
moment.
You were one club. You were one club that did that last year. So I'm not I'm not just picking on anyone.
Yep.
You did it. You had more than 2 marquees.
We did.
Why can't you have 2? You know, like just say that's the only 2, and the rest of the time you've got to fill it in with players from your own club. Okay. So then we have that. We have that.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that, TJ.
Yeah. So we have that auction night. Bowls New South Wales line up the auction in whatever order they want to do, whatever they feel is the highest quality player at the start or the bottom, whatever way they want to do it. And every club has the right to bid. And as soon as you've got 2 players bid on, or you've used your prize pool, so if you use your pool, whatever that is, or your salary cap on the one player, that's all you get.
Yeah, okay.
But if you think they're good enough and they're going to win you the competition for that, then you go ahead and you do that. But as soon as you spend that, that's all you're spending. Okay? You can't have another one after that.
Yeah. So if
it balances it out a little bit to me.
If it was 60k, you decided you wanted to get Aaron Sheriff for 60k for 10 games.
Yep.
Then you'd only have one marquee. And you'd fill the rest with your own club players.
Exactly. And if you can only play 6 or 7 of the games and then the finals, that's on you.
Yeah. So if he can't play 2 games because he's away at another event or something, then you just have to play with all your club players.
Yep.
And that's it.
Yep. What do you think of that? You've played in the event.
I like that idea. JJ, how did you come up with that? I didn't think you were that smart.
I don't know. These things just come to me. And it's obscure hours and lack of sleep.
Maybe you I just hope that the Bowls New South Wales office is listening to this episode, DJ.
I know they
get
listen.
Somewhere.
I know they listen. But yeah, I'm just trying to think of ways to make it better. I mean, these are things that I had been thinking of because, like I said, I put my hand up to be on that match committee. This is the type of stuff I would like to try and bring in. And I can't see how the clubs wouldn't go for it.
Well,
on the other side of it, if a club's good enough, if they've got themselves in the position where they're financially well off enough and they can afford to do that with the players, so why should we be stopping them? I think for the benefit of the competition, really.
Yeah. So DJ, for clubs maybe down at the bottom end of the scale, say for instance the cap 60k. You're going to have the clubs at the top end of the scale happily pay 60k for a couple of players or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
What if a club doesn't want to spend that much money?
Well, they might pick up a bargain then. They might pick up a bargain because some of those players, you may have listed some of those players as a marquee in your competition. You might only be paying them 1,000 or 2,000 because they're only going to play 1 or 2 games.
Yeah.
But if they know they're available for every game and someone can pick them up for 10k instead of 60k.
Yeah.
They get their name out there as well for playing in a premier competition in the country, which is what they're aiming for it to be.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right. So it limits the amount of marquees that are in the competition. But clubs will be a bit more selective in how they do it as well, I think. And then it's up to the players too, because obviously you're going to be more attractive the better you are and the more available you are.
Yes, the availability will come in. And that's one thing, DJ, that we've hit last year and sort of stumbling blocks this year coming up is getting players that can play all the games. It's good enough to get a marquee that wants to come play with you and you agree with the marquee what they're going to get for coming and playing as a marquee, but then they say, but I can only play 5 games. And you just go, so I have to go looking for another marquee.
Yep.
And that can play those 5 games that they can play.
Yeah.
So it becomes it's been a bit of a headache, to be honest, TJ.
Yeah.
Glad it's not my headache.
Yeah.
But, that's definitely was one of our stumbling blocks last year, DJ. And that's why we had more than 2 marquees, because the marquees we did select first up initially couldn't play all the games.
Plus the ways we're playing, you probably wanted more marquees too,
Can't wait to Maitland City are in it, DJ.
Yeah, man. Well, it's definitely an objective. There's a few things to get there first, but that's just one thing that's been rattling around in this empty head about making that a bit better and making it a bit more attractive, a bit more interesting. It brings a bit more strategy into it from the get-go. Like the best player in Australia, whoever you deem that to be at the time, are you going to want to pay them 30,000, 40,000 if they're only available for 6 of the games out of 12 or 11, whatever it is?
Yeah.
Or are you going to want to pay 20,000 on a player that's going to be there all the time? Because if you don't get to use the best player, you can't just fill it in with a third best player. You got to fill it in with someone from your own club who got you there in the first place.
Yeah.
So it exposes more players, more middle of the row players to that top level, which is only going to benefit the level of the sport around the place, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I think you said earlier, DJ, there's definitely be a bit of a gulf maybe between the elite clubs in Platinum Pennant and the clubs sort of down more at the bottom end of the table. And that sort of money aspect will just get wider and wider. That gulf will get wider as the seasons go on, and then that kind of takes away from the competition, DJ, because then clubs will just not want to play in it because they're going to get bashed every week.
Which is what happened with Premier League, from what I can hear.
Well, I wasn't here, DJ, so I can't really comment on it.
Like I said, it's hearsay for me and you. We weren't involved in it.
Yeah.
We hadn't quite hit our peak yet by the time that was going.
It'd be a bit different, DJ. Like, you think back to like English Premier League is not really similar, but it's because clubs, professional football clubs at that level, have the funds to pay those middle of the road players decent wages and that kind of thing. But in bowls, it's more of like a top heavy. Over here anyway, in New South Wales, it's really top heavy, and it'll be hard to get those clubs middle of the table, lower of the table to compete, as you say, with those top heavy clubs. And yeah, that's one thing you've said, that those kind of ideas you've come up with rattling around your head that might level the playing field a little bit to create a better competition overall.
Yeah. Another idea it's more been given to me than me come up with this one. So I'm not really sold on it. I'm not a big fan of it, and that is that you can only be in Platinum if you've got a 1 grade underneath. I don't think we've got the depth of talent to do that at all the clubs. Well, I think if a club out there has got good enough players to play on Platinum, and they want to force them up into Platinum and get a couple of marquees to strengthen them and get the exposure with the club and try and be competitive up there, I don't think you need to be forcing them to have 12 1-graders underneath as well. No. And then that's going to close off. It's going to close off your opportunity for some of the other clubs to get in there, because you're going to have 12 1-grade clubs from those clubs. You know, it might strengthen 1 grade in terms of numbers, but are those clubs then going to go on a recruitment drive and just sort of pillage the local clubs around them? They've got some good players just to play 1 grade, and then you're going to have less 1 grades. Like, I'm not sold on that one. What's your thoughts on that one? Like, from a Tyrone point of view, like you battled this year. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah, we definitely did. We battled for wins.
How are you going to go trying to fill a 1 grade side underneath that too, as a stipulation to be in Platinum?
Nah, definitely it wouldn't happen, DJ. Like, we would really struggle. Like, we don't have a 1 grade. We go from Platinum to 2 grade.
Are you saying you should be dropped from Platinum to 2 grade? Is that? No, I know what you mean, but you've got that gap there.
We've got that gap.
And there is a fair gap. Like, there's a gap between grade 1 and grade 2.
Yes, and I think that's one of the things that we're sort of looking at and saying, you look at your 2 grade players who can step up and play Platinum Pennants, and that's, as you say, that there is a gap between that ability of 2 grade players to step up and play Platinum Pennants. Like, there's a massive difference in, as you say, just a grade 1 where you've got some really quality bowlers in grade 1, DJ, but you play Platinum Pennants, you're up against state players, jackaroos.
Every single game. Front
end players, like we talked about weeks ago, DJ Cabramatta had, Commonwealth Games gold medalists leading up for them. And that's the quality that you need to be striving for in terms of your team playing a Platinum Pennant. So to get a 2 grade bowler to come out and play even lead or second in a Platinum team, you're really struggling, DJ. And I don't think that will end up very good.
No, exactly. And then my final one, which I've hammered on about, I don't know what's happening behind the scenes, but if it does happen now, I'm taking credit for it, and I will claim credit for it every episode. All right? Move it away from the rest of the grades for the finals, because it's meant to be the premier event. Yeah. You can't have your final on when every other bowler in the state is playing for a state flag. You can't.
Yeah, it needs to be a different time.
It needs to. They got to find a time in the calendar where that is shifted. That's got to be a standalone weekend. It's very hard to make it a standalone competition for the full comp unless you move it in the time of year, which I'm not opposed to.
Yeah.
Okay. The amount of greens there that were played indoor, undercover, whatever. Yeah. Okay. You could do it pretty much any time of year you want.
Yeah.
Okay. But for this year coming, I really hope they're sitting there now going, we got to move that. Especially after the weekend they had last. That's got to be on a weekend where nothing else is on.
Yeah.
Totally
agree.
Everyone, there was already, I think we had a complaint about how little numbers were actually sitting watching it as it was. It's going to be even less if everybody's already playing in their own state finals.
Yeah. That's our target market, is all the other bowlers.
That's got to move. That's got to move. That's got to move. I want to see an announcement at the presentation night, which is also coming up. So, Coach of the Year, you going to nominate yourself?
Didn't you get Podcaster of the Year, DJ? Is that nomination
self-appointed?
Oh, okay.
Self-appointed.
So, Bowls New South Wales awards, coming up soon. DJ, what's the date?
Yeah. It's the night before big conference that they've got going on the 1st of November. So I think it's the 31st of October. Halloween.
Okay.
Maybe some scaries out of that night, no doubt. But yeah, their awards keep popping up there, mate. So yeah, I'd back you in as coach of the year, mate. So I would. You've coached me through the podcast. But anyway, that's a couple of gripes with Platinum, mate. My next gripe, and I'm going to have a whinge if you don't mind.
Go for it, DJ. Let's hear it.
Single gender pennant that we're playing in New South Wales.
Yeah.
Okay. It is single gender pennant. That is the title of it. It is a state event. It goes to state finals. Okay. The problem I've got up here in the Hunter Valley is that we've always played in a midweek pennant competition with the Newcastle zone. Okay.
Yeah.
Just luckily then it was just Newcastle zone. It's now the Greater Newcastle. So I'm finding it very hard to shake the old stigma of midweek pennant. We're playing midweek pennant. DJ, are we playing midweek pennant this week? DJ, where's the midweek pennant teams?
Yeah.
It's not midweek pennant. It's single gender pennant. All right. Just because we're playing it midweek doesn't make it midweek pennant. It makes it single gender pennant because statewide it's not all played midweek. And there's another problem. So is everyone having a fair crack of the whip here? Like some regions are choosing to play on weekends.
Yeah.
Which obviously benefits the majority of people that work Monday to Friday.
Yes.
Some regions are electing to play midweek. Okay.
Yep.
Which is why there's big number differences when it comes to state finals. Like I know at least 2 teams in Division 1 last year went through without playing. I know there's happening again this year, and they're actually going with a flag this time because they decided to give a flag to a team. Yeah. You haven't heard that one yet? No, they give a flag to a team that didn't even play a game, Simon, for anyone that didn't listen to last week's podcast. I got in trouble this week over that, but I don't care. Still got 2 teams in mind that have won, haven't got a flag yet. Anyway, surely, man, that's not a fair crack of the whip, but it's not.
Nah, it's not.
There's disadvantage to something. It's not an even playing field. All right,
yeah.
So stop giving everyone options of how they play the competitions in their area. Tell them how to play it. Tell them all it's midweek. Tell them all it's weekend. Pick one and tell them. I think this particular pennant should be wiped off the face of the earth.
I agree with that, DJ.
Yeah.
I think this pennant should not be part of the calendar.
No, it shouldn't. It's pennant. That needs to be rejigged to a 5-a-side or a reincarnation of...
shorter version.
Yeah, some sort of a shorter version that's a reincarnation of the club challenge we used to have. That was very popular.
It was, yeah.
It was very popular. It was a good, fun event at the end of the year. But you could have took that and made that into a premier event as well.
Yeah.
If you really had to, right? But look what they've done with it in the last 2 years that they've run it as well. The men's has gone from 8-man teams to 12-man teams. All right.
Yeah.
Not only that, the state finals finished in June or whatever, and then they started the next competition in July, August. So they just changed the time of year. It's just like...
I think, DJ, what that was created for, and I believe, was just to keep everyone happy. Just don't upset the apple cart. Let's have a single-gender female pennant and a single-gender male pennant, just to keep everyone happy. And then there's a combined open pennant as well in the year. So all those that want to play together as male and females can play together in that pennant. Those who want to stay separately and segregated can play in their single gender pennant. I think, DJ, you can't keep everyone happy, and you have to do what's best for the sport.
No, 100%.
What's best for our sport is for everyone to play together, regardless of gender, disability, or ability. That's how our sport gets to Brisbane 32. That's how our sport grows numbers and people wanting to come and play bowls, is the inclusivity that our sport can offer.
Yeah.
Age doesn't matter, DJ.
Yeah.
You play with your grandparents or grandchildren, aunties and uncles, and all sorts, DJ, can play together in the same team. What other sport can offer that in terms of competitiveness and getting rid of single gender pennants is for my vote. I'll vote for that, DJ.
I'm all for it in a different format, but it's just it's just pennant after pennant after pennant, and it's all played the same way. There's not even a different format change. Like, it's not even like a sets play or just an overall big board score with no rink scores, which was trialed a couple of years ago, but people win, so they just done away with it after 1 year. That's another thing. See the conditions to play. Just make it conditions to play for 3, 4, 5 years. Like, just set it. I know it's hard with the calendars at times because you got people above you that set different dates for their calendars, but the main events need to be set aside every year so we know what they're going to be and they're not going to chop and change. There was confusion in our region this year for this sake because the Open Reserve 4s got dropped to 18 ends along with the senior women's, but then the senior men's played 21 and the Open men's played 21 and the Open women's played 21. And then one club had no idea what was going on and they played the President's Reserve to 21 ends. And then they came back down to another club that was a very clever club and knew what was going on for the back part of it, and they only played 18 ends. But like, people should know the rules. I understand that, and there's conditions of play out there. They should know the rules. They should be up to date with it.
Yeah,
it's a lot easier to be up to date with it if you're not changing the date every time.
Yeah,
like, it doesn't need to be there every single year. You know, like when I first got here and started administrating, it was 2 to 3 years. This is the conditions of play, and then all of a sudden it dropped to 1 year, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. But yeah, sort of off topic about there, but still a few gripes anyway, just because I've had to drive to Sydney today and I'm cranky and I thought I'd just whinge about stuff. 6 months in, mate, let's celebrate with a whinge. It's not, back on to what I was really getting at. It's not an even playing field because they're not playing on the same days.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not the opportunities for everyone to play at the same time, DJ. And yeah, as you say, those that are working that want to play in it can't. If I wanted to play in a DJ, I couldn't play in it. I'm working midweek.
Yeah,
some of us have a real job.
Yeah, exactly.
Not like sports administrators who can go off and play
I don't get to play as much as I want to either. So I don't. But yeah, that's But I would have been able to field a Division 1 team up here if we were on weekends.
Yeah.
Okay. I would have been able to field, and we were going to field a Division 1 team midweek on the 8-man premise that it was last year, but then they changed it to 12. I was like, no, what's the point? Change for the sake of change? Change because people played with 8-man teams instead of 12-man teams and then said, oh, I'm used to playing 12-man teams. Can we go back to that? Well, no. Let's go back to 4 rinks of 25 ends, stop halfway through for sandwiches, shall we? Let's see how people enjoy that. No, change happens for a reason, for the better of the sport.
Yeah.
You're put in a position to choose what's best for the sport. Pick it and go with it. All right? Because the people that want to play the sport are going to keep playing the sport anyway. You're not going to offend the whole general population of bowls and they're going to stop playing the game.
Yeah.
All right.
Totally
What's
agree,
really getting on people's wick is the fact that they have to readapt themselves every single year to a different format.
Be interesting, DJ. We're obviously coming from a New South Wales background, and be interesting to hear from other listeners out there, DJ, if they have similar, I don't know, hurdles, challenges in terms of their leagues, changing conditions of play across other states within Australia that we're maybe not aware of, or other countries.
Yeah, we'll write that down, because that's something we got to talk to Chrissy about and talk to Turles about.
Yeah.
That's something I'd really like to know, because they've obviously been in my position here.
Yeah.
And now they're in the other position in Queensland and Victoria, and they've been there for a while now. Look, is there a difference? Is one better than the other? Chrissy might have Chrissy will have a real good say too, because he's been on the inside of Bowls New South Wales.
Yep. So we do have those two guys lined up for interviews, so they will be getting interviewed very soon, DJ, won't they? In the next week or so. So
we'll try to bank a few of these up, especially for when I go overseas.
We'll put those questions to especially Wayne Turley, who's up at Tweed, and Chris Green, who's down at Deer Park, and as you say, have both been heavily involved in administration of clubs within New South Wales over the years, but now have went interstate, and it'll be interesting to hear their experience now in other states when it comes to pennants and conditions of play and all that comes with it. So we'll definitely feel that to them, but it'll be interesting to hear from any of our listeners out there that have any other experiences in any other states, DJ, or in any other countries that they would like to share with us.
Absolutely. Like, we grew up playing 4-rink, didn't we?
Yeah.
And I was talking to Simon Mitchell in the car on the way home from the regionals on the weekend, saying like, we always grew up with a 4, and that was just the norm. Then we got out here and was like, 3, but I think that's the way to go. I think 3 rinks now that we're used to it, it's the way to go.
Yep.
So it is, especially with numbers dropping off. I know the numbers have dropped off, and I think they do play in PGL. I do think they have a league of 3 rink teams. But yeah, I think it's something that they need to look at going forward. But also, like, this is the thing, that's the pinnacle of the sport to me. Like, I've always said, pennants is test match cricket, but then when you get to the World Championships and you get to
it's 5-man team,
it's different again, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that's just my gripes for this week, man. A couple of ideas to improve Platinum Pennant. I don't want to say guaranteed to improve, but it's an idea to try and improve.
It's an idea to try and improve.
And then a real whinge about single gender pennant, just because it's being played at the minute, and it's just, I got to be honest, like I'm absolutely stoked that we've won 2 flags, although we haven't been presented with them yet. Have I told you that yet? But stoked to win that, but there's so much confusion around it too. Like we don't even know. Like I said, we don't know where the state finals are going to be yet.
Yeah,
that's going to be announced very soon, apparently. Yeah, it's just fresh in the memory at the minute, but it just felt it had a bit of a lull about it, or a bit of a downer about it. It just didn't feel like a real competition. The more you get into it, and the more you're winning, obviously it naturally does that, but it just doesn't have, standing out there watching the games, it just doesn't have that same feel as what the Saturdays does, and it's just because there's so much uncertainty and chopping and changing around it. So I'd like to see that. If it has to be there, change it up and be consistent with it. If it doesn't have to be there, just wipe it off the face of the earth and bring us something different that's more up to date and better and moving the game forward instead of just sitting still and keeping everybody happy.
Yeah. Anyone in the Bowls NSW office there, if you want to send a reply to dj@thebowlsacademy.com.
Yeah, they've all got my number, mate, don't worry. Just to look back on one of the other episodes, Simon, Commonwealth Games, I've noticed, just again social media wise, Bowls Scotland have released a statement, Bowls Australia have released a statement.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
I'm sure if we went looking the other nations too, but Bowls Australia being the premier country, really.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It makes sense for them to do that. Bowls Scotland,
the host,
such a proud nation there, but also hosting it makes a big thing for them. Really hope we find out soon as to what's going on, mate. Especially with this Dalrymple interview coming up. It's in the back of my mind, but
I
really hope we find out soon that whether Bowls has made it in or not. I know we were a bit, what did I say, doom or gloom last week. I think we're pretty realistic.
Yeah, I think we're realistic. Yep. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, I haven't slept since, so I'd like to get some sleep. If they could, Commonwealth Games could come out and tell us what the sports are going to be, that would really help me.
That would be really helpful, DJ, and then at least we know where to go from there. And yeah, look, I hope it is, DJ. I really hope it is. I'd love to see.
It's good to see them. It's good to see them being proactive like that, and going right. They've maybe looked at it and gone, it's not looking good, but we'll do. And they're saying like, we think it should be in there, but they're reassuring the general population that we are doing everything we can to be in there.
Yeah.
One thing I do want to ask you about, mate. Seriously, it's pretty convenient the timing of Bowls Australia's release after a certain podcast was released.
Yeah.
Do you think that was coincidental?
Conspiracy theories, DJ.
No.
Are we reaching out there to the administrators of our sport, DJ, and pushing some envelopes there, like reaching out? And
if they want to be successful, they should be listening.
Yeah,
they should. So Neil Dalrymple's not scared to come on, so we'll reach out to some other CEOs and see how scared they are to come on.
Yeah,
all the states. It'll be interesting to see. Especially, it'll be interesting to see after that episode goes out, how many of them want to come on and just maybe listen to that and go, yeah, well, this is what we're trying to do on the ground, or maybe they disagree with something. So it'll be interesting to hear from those higher rank officials as to what they actually think.
Yeah, I think, DJ, from my point of view, I'd love to hear from all those that obviously are leading our sports in terms of administration at state level, national level, whether it be Australia, Scotland, England. I'd love to hear what direction and how they think we can sort of turn our sport around. Because our sport does need turned around, DJ. I think because clearly the numbers over the years and the census that Bowls Australia used to bring out, which they don't bring out anymore even, but when they used to bring them out, showed a decline in our competitive numbers. Yeah, it shows an increase. Obviously here in Australia we have a lot of barefoot bowlers.
Yeah.
And that kind of washes over the true facts, I think, DJ, sometimes.
You're dead set right there, mate, because if they want to use that, that's great. People are using this, they're playing the sport. All right, so I understand that one person that rolled that ball down and then went back and had a schooner, didn't go back out again. They've rolled the ball down. They play their sport. That's what they're counting.
Yeah.
What's the transition, but how many of those numbers are transitioning into competitive players? That's my thing. And from being on the ground, not a big lot.
No.
Not a big lot.
And
the ones that are coming into the game are the people that bring their friends, family, and all that into the game. Same way we all get into it. It's the same way it always has been.
And I think that kind of washes over the fact that when they say about so many, I've seen stats, DJ, of like 600, 900,000 people played bowls in Australia this year. But really, out of that, say it was 900,000 people, DJ, you've maybe only got 200,000 competitive bowlers that turn up to play club bowls week in, week out. So I think that's the numbers that have been dropping. And that's the reason why bowls clubs are folding, because we don't have the regular club competitors playing week in, week out, coming down to the club. I think that's what needs turned around, DJ. Yeah. And I'd love to hear from our administrators in terms of what strategies they think
what they need to do. Yeah.
Would change that, and how other clubs what clubs can do. Like we've spoke about different things, DJ, over the previous episodes in terms of administration, red tape, governance, all those different things. What can clubs do to help out, to gain new members, little initiatives? Like there might be some clubs out there, DJ, that are actually gaining members year on year and new members. But we need to spread that word on how they're doing that to other clubs.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And like Neil will be a good one to hear about that, obviously, because he didn't start in the sport. He came into the sport job-wise. Yeah. We're in a similar position, I suppose, now in Bowls New South Wales with Tim at the helm. I'd love to hear what Tim's sort of thinking behind it. I've spoke to Tim, so I do know roughly what Tim's thinking at the times. But yeah, like that marketing campaign they brought out towards the start of the year, but just trying to get people down to the bowler. Promoting what bowling clubs have down there, and like we talked about, we're not gonna open that can of worms again. We've been through it, but making sure that they are community focused and they are a community hub. Yep. You know, and how can you guide them in that right direction? I suppose from the higher ranking people would be interesting to hear. So yeah, I know we've mentioned that a couple of times in this episode, but that was a pretty exciting fish that you caught last week, man. And I don't think we quite I wouldn't say we didn't expect it. I think we're in a pretty decent position to get those people on here and talk about it now. But to get the response so quickly and so eagerly and have it lined up pretty quick, that was pretty exciting, actually. From my
it was
point
good,
of view.
DJ, and definitely looking forward to doing that interview with Neil, and it should be a cracker.
Hope so, man. Hope so. Right, well, I don't think there's much else to go on with this week, mate, so I think we might wrap it up there. Episode 26, a full 6 months of doing all this. I thought you would have got me a cake, but obviously we're sitting here and I'm hungry, so I might go and find my own cake or some dessert.
You don't need cake, DJ.
I mean, I gotta warm the stomach muscles up for when I go home, because I'm eating when I get home. I've been following a couple of YouTube videos. So I have people traveling around all the local chippies and stuff we got there. Oh, man, I reckon I've got one for every day. So
good luck to you.
Yeah, I'll need to come back. I'll need to tap into your old personal training skills, I reckon, when I get back here and get a bit off me. But
those days are gone, TJ. They're long gone.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, folks, that'll do us for this week. We'll be back next week, and hopefully, as we said, there'll be a few, maybe 3, 4, 5 interviews coming up over the next couple of months as well that you should hopefully tune into. And if there's anyone out there interested in talking to us as well, by all means, we'll get in touch with you and line it up. There's a few other players that I have sent interview questions to. Hopefully they get back to you soon as well and they want to do it. We want to hear from all those players. So as just Joe Public on the ground, your grade 5, 6, 7 players get to hear from those world-class players and how to improve. That's what we're here for as well. So as always, folks, keep that little disc on the inside. You'll hear from us next week.
Good luck on the greens, folks, and we'll catch you next week.